The economy is clapped, and soon the stock market will be as well. Now, that's no news to anyone, but I'm going to speak my 2 cents here. I'm going to give a macro overview of what's happened in the stock market and draw parallels to the economy throughout 2025 and my personal outlook of what's going to happen throughout 2026. So we'll call it a 12-month outlook. It's currently early mid-November. Please keep in mind I am 22 years old, part of Gen Z, the generation that doesn't know anything, doesn't work hard. You boomers ruined it for us, blah, blah, blah. We have unaffordable housing, high student loans, a decrease in real income. List goes on. Okay. Without further ado, let's talk money. Actually, real quick, because I know nothing, I would like there to be an interactive comment section. I want to know what you think could be playing out in the future and know your perspective on, the stock market, economy, whatever you want to talk about. This is good. We're all educating each other. Great. All right. So I think there's going to be a bull run in the end of this year, Santa rally, if you will. Moving on to 2026, I think end of Q2 to mid Q3 is going to be extremely rocky. That is mainly due to one, seasonality, and two, Jerome Powell will be done. His term is over, and around May, I believe, and someone will be stepping through. That person, I believe, is going to be appointed by Donald Trump. So there's very little stopping or slowing down his overall monetary policy, his plan, his vision for America. Whether you agree or disagree with the monetary policy, it will probably be that. So throughout 2025, the S&P grew approximately 14.5%. That's accounting for dividends. And that growth was mostly attributable towards the Mag 7 along with other large tech names. And investors have been paying a relatively large premium. Now, these companies have proven profitable and beating earnings, having strong projections. So inherently, investors have been paid handsomely. Okay, people are happy, great. Now, there are talks of the AI circular trade. If you don't know, most of you I feel like already do know, but if you don't, I'll give a quick example. Imagine me, company A, and you, company B. I will pay you to dig a hole. $5, take it or leave it. You take it, great, okay. Now you pay me $5 to fill up that hole. Neither of us lift a finger, and both of us get to recognize $5 of revenue. Isn't that neat? Now, people are concerned because that is being done on a level of trillions of dollars. And with our current market and high valuation multiples, it can get a little dicey up there. I believe that is why Michael Burry had began his shorts on those companies, but I digress. Okay, so earnings season has shown strong beats at the top line. Meta, for example, is a great one. They have announced that they will be accelerating their CapEx. And although I am a bit, treading lightly when it comes to that, last time investors questioned Zuckerberg's overzealous spending, we'll call it, we saw exactly what happened to the stock price. So there's that. And I'm not preaching a bull case for Meta. I am a shareholder, I'll say that much. The amount of shares I hold is fairly immaterial. All right. So throughout this run and talks of an AI bubble, many retail investors, including myself, have run to safety. That is in the form of precious metals, gold, silver, platinum, and they have rallied. That might be considered an understatement because gold, silver, and platinum have all hit all-time highs this year. Wonderful. Everyone's happy. This is part of my de-dollarization, debasement of the dollar trade, however you want to call it. The dollar is weakening, and I believe it'll continue to get weak. So real quick, I'm just going to give an overview of all the trades and investments I've positioned myself in within this year. Early 2025, added to my already existing NVIDIA position. Gold, silver, I had a lump sum entry early in the year and took leap call options for expiring May 2026, I believe, or somewhere in 2026, Q2. Those have been in the money for the past few months now. Incredibly happy. Wonderful. Okay. Next, I've been playing around with tech names. So Oracle, Google, AMD, Palantir, list goes on. They've been printing. Wonderful. Okay. I've exited most of them. Just to give a sneak peek, I have a 45% position in cash. between all my accounts. I understand that it's fairly contradictory towards my de-dollarization statement and the weakening dollar, but I am looking for investment opportunities, and I'll explain why shortly. Number 2 of the trades, quantum computing, meme stock names such as Beyond Meat, Open Door, Krispy Kreme, those ones that just got bought up for no reason. I shorted. I'm the villain. Scary. Okay, it's fine. It's okay. Hopefully you made money on the upside. Hopefully I made money on the downside. I made money on the downside. Okay. Hopefully you made money on the up run. If you're still holding, let's say, quantum computing stocks, thinking it's the next piece of technology, Godspeed. I ask that you do one thing, and I'm going to just say D-Wave or ticker symbol QBTS here because that's the one I've shorted of the highest volume. Please type in that ticker symbol with warrant following it, or at the money offering, or SEC Form 4 of the entire board. And I think it'll give you an idea of where the leaders think that company is going, along with what it's actually worth. 0. I'm just kidding. I'm not. All right, so now we've talked about all those positions. My cash position. I want to be exposed to real estate sooner than later. Many people will want the mortgage rates to come down. That's pretty tightly tied to the 10-year, along with other there's other factors that play into your interest that you're going to have on your mortgage. Your debt to income ratio, your actual income, any other obligations you have. Me personally, my parents love me. I'm taken care of. I'm very blessed. So I'm trying to get my income up for going for these investments, or actually being able to live on my own. That'd be nice. American dream. I will be doing a follow-up video on the 30 and 50-year mortgages. I hope that it doesn't get to a 50-year mortgage, but if it does, we can hope for the best and prepare for the worst. So look out for that. So, okay. With that being said, I am terrified of the economy. BNPL services. If you're not aware, buy now, pay later. We got to talk about that. There's Affirm, Klarna, those are gaining traction. Huge use. They're growing incredibly fast, and I'm terrified. The consumer is extremely weak because that's how these companies grow. They make money with the slim margins that they get to pull from their merchants. Let's say Costco will sign up for Klarna. And the reason why these merchants are giving up their margins is because it creates a frictionless, or tries to simulate a frictionless transaction. For example, if you're a consumer and you see a checkout screen that says $200 as your balance, you might shy away from the transaction. Now, if you can see a payment of $50 followed by 3 other equal payments of $50 over a whole month, maybe you'll go for that purchase. And that's the exact same mentality and mindset going into this 50-year mortgage, which I'll go ahead and do the math in the next video. Terrible. I digress. So, moving forward, CEO David Steinberg, the Zeta Economic Index. Now, it's a company I was looking at, but I'm more so interested in the economic research and the algorithm output. So on a recent CNBC interview, he was talking about the overall healthiness of the consumer and the economy referenced in the index that was generated. There's expansion across the board with spending in travel, entertainment, automotive, retail, and tech, which is crazy because our income is lackluster, to say the least. As average American, terrible. And it made me think, so there's credit card usage probably, and then I looked into the early withdrawals of retirement funds, savings. It just gets worse. The more you know, the more sad you get. It's terrible. Don't do this research. Let me do it. I'll talk to you about it. Okay. There was one area that was contracting, and if you want to take a wild guess, I'll give you a second, but it's the housing. People cannot move or don't want to. So this boils down to 2 reasons. their inability, which is they're not bringing enough income and the housing prices are so high and stubborn to fall. Number two, the existing homeowners have a sub 3% mortgage, and to release that would be, I'm not going to call it foolish, but some majority might call it foolish. On top of that, why would you give up that deal to pick up a home that's super inflated in price and at 6.5%? Ridiculous. No one wants to do that. So they wait and they sit on their hands and they have a home. So, what do they complain about? Circling back to this whole monthly expense, things like that, to actually land a home and you're reviewing your income to cash outflows, the BNPL services are far from helping. I saw in Q2 of this year, someone post, and it was probably satire, but someone posted a Costco hot dog for $1.50 using Klarna's Pay in 4 feature, where it was 38 cents equal payments 4 times in a week. And, sure, could have been a joke. I know some people are actually doing that for non-discretionaries, which terrifies me. And I am so incredibly sorry if you are dealing with that. I believe in you. You're going to be able to fix it. Just got to lock in. And I hate that I have to give that answer. So 16, shockingly, is what I found, is estimated 16% of Klarna's revenue comes from consumer fees. That's all late fees. If a company like this is growing, the consumer is weakening. That's just what I want to bring up. The use of credit card utilization, all the way up, record high. Revolving balances, record high. These are moving on to the next months. Credit card interest rates are insane. And most of you have already known about the MasterCard, Visa, monopoly, we can call it. They own so much of the market share. No one can compete with them. You're going to have to front that, 18 to 20% credit card rate if you cannot pay off your balances. It will get worse, unfortunately. All right. So with the whole credit card news being said, maybe Trump gives the $2,000 dividend. I doubt it, but let's say there's a $2,000 dividend payment towards people of not so high income. I'm happy I get $2,000. Cool. That's not going to help in the future. That's the same thing as providing temporary relief just to kick the can down the road until we run out of road and build more road. Very American of us. Okay. Unemployment is getting a little scary. Now, it's at a level that's not too terrible now. It will get worse. This is, the AI displacement, as we all know. Large tech firms are laying people off. However, as of now, AI is still just a tool. And if you have lost your job completely to AI, I am so sorry if that came across as insensitive. And, to do yourself a favor, please lock in. I believe in you. But 3 to 5 years from now, AI will start to actually replace jobs completely. And I used the word displace earlier carefully. So displacement of jobs, unemployment going up, and this also ties into private equity. Now, our favorite names, Blackstone, KKR, Apollo Global, they are underperforming this year. Actually, in the order of Blackstone, Apollo Global, and KKR, they face losses of 10, 20, and 25% respectively to their market cap year to date. Now, this lackluster performance is due to these firms unable to sell their previously acquired assets. And a Bloomberg study had shown that their held assets are held at higher valuations or multiples than the ones that they're actually selling. I could put a chart here. I could do the video editing. I feel like it would just be a waste of time. Take my word for it or look for it yourself. It's true. Okay. Moving forward. And also, it'd probably make you sad and depressed to see the way we're headed. So, honestly, let me do the research and you can just listen. But yes, interactive comment section. I want to learn more. All right. So they are going to continue to bleed. And if they do, they have to cut more jobs, whether that be from the assets they've acquired and the businesses that they're running or their own firm. With President Trump trying to cut rates aggressively, this will give them some relief. What I've recognized in the past, and history doesn't repeat itself, but it does sure rhyme, is that when money is easy to borrow and they have, $10 trillion in their assets now, 10 trillion plus, their trigger finger gets awfully loose. And with more money to borrow, higher volume, higher frequency, lower cost, it's easier to retire their debt. I'm afraid that they will probably run rampant in terms of acquiring assets and trying to expand their balance sheets, as the Fed likes to say. So all in all, I think that tying all together will continue to tear down the economy and ruin the stock market next year. My position in cash is so I can position myself to have exposure to real estate, like I said before. And if that happens, it'd be great. If not, I'll be looking to snipe some deals on the stock market. I'll continue to dollar cost average into precious metals, probably just gold and silver. I say precious metals just because I'm assuming they're all a safe bet. I'm just familiar with gold and silver, as many other people are. I don't know many people who are picking up platinum from stores, lithium. I don't even know if that's actually a thing that people do. But that is my conclusion. Thank you for hearing me out. I will do a follow-up video on the 30-year comparison to the 50-year compared to the 50-year mortgage, and we'll see how the math doesn't quite math. Take care. Please be safe, and I wish you the best.